By the end of this video, you'll have the key to connecting with everyone on this planet. People will love you and want to help you succeed. And if everyone loves you, you'll have unlocked the secret to life itself. You'll gain the most important skill you need in this life. Because if we look at CEOs, company executives, and world leaders, we'll find that each of them has different abilities. However, there's one skill they all share: social skills. I read an article a while back that said communication skills account for 85% of your success in life. This statement is true because even if you just want to start a YouTube channel, you'll need social skills more than anything else. This video was created to be the ultimate guide for your social skills. Listen to me carefully. There's something deeply ingrained in all of us humans, embedded in our DNA. This is the foundation that all social skills are built on. Any book or video you come across about social skills is based on this very concept, so focus with me now. As humans, we all have an instinct within us, and this instinct is a hunger for value. In other words, we love to feel that we have value in the environment we live in. If you satisfy this hunger for someone in the right way, as I'll explain in this video, that person will become yours. You'll win them over, and anything you want them to do, they'll do. I still remember a long time ago when I was studying at college. Since I was an immigrant at the time and needed money, I worked as a math tutor for high school students, giving private lessons. One of my students was among the slowest learners I'd ever met in my life. He was like a brick wall. I had to explain things to him 4 times before he'd understand. One day I talked to him and said, "You're slow to understand and you're not the smartest guy, but you have one great thing: you're hardworking. And even though you're now at the bottom of your class, your hard work will eventually make you surpass all your classmates." What happened was that before the end of the school year, this student became one of the best students I taught. I don't know exactly what he did, but I'm sure that when he went home, he studied with all his energy. The reason wasn't just that he wanted to succeed, it was because he wanted to impress me. He wanted to prove to me that he deserved the praise I'd given him. All of this happened because of that single sentence I said to him. That sentence was a form of positive motivation that pushed him to study harder. In truth, that sentence was food for the instinct I mentioned earlier. So if you learn how to properly feed this instinct in others, you'll become the most loved person in your social circle. This is what I'll explain to you today. I'll teach you how to feed this instinct. You may hear me now and think I'm telling you to go and give value to anyone you meet. No, you must learn the correct way to give people value, and that's what I'll explain to you. The first thing and a golden rule that I want you to remember for the rest of your life is this: if you want to leave an impression and influence someone, you need to make them feel like they're the one who left an impression and influenced you. This is an important rule and one of the first things I learned when studying human behavior. If you want to impress someone, if you want to gain someone's approval, you shouldn't show them that you're amazing. Instead, you should show them that they're the amazing and remarkable one. So how do you do that? How do you make someone feel like they left an impression on you? Through focused conversation. This means that when you talk to someone, you make the conversation revolve around them and focus on them. Way number 1, let them talk about themselves and build on what they say. Imagine you're talking to someone and they say, "Yesterday I went on a date with a girl, and it turned out she was dumb and didn't understand anything about life." When they tell you this, they're recounting an experience they had, meaning they've placed the focus of the conversation on themselves. Now imagine if you responded by saying, "I once met a stupid girl too," or "I can't stand dumb girls." In these examples, what have you done? You've taken the focus and shifted it back onto yourself. But if you said, "Oh, and what did you do about it?" or "How did the date go?" Here you keep the focus on them and continue the conversation about them. Of course, when they're talking, you need to listen to them. I've explained this in previous videos from the Social Skills series. In short, try to make them the center of the conversation for an extended period. Way number 2, take a general topic and redirect it toward them. Imagine you meet someone and you start talking about the weather. This is undoubtedly one of the most general and boring topics ever, as everyone agrees. But imagine if you ask them, what do you like more, rain or sunshine, summer or winter? Do you get what I mean? When you have the opportunity to shift the focus of the conversation to the other person, do it. By doing this, you give them value and satisfy their instinct. They'll feel that they've influenced you, and in turn, you'll have influenced them. At the same time, you give them a chance to prove themselves and earn your admiration. Golden rule number 2. Here I'll give you a golden rule in social skills. The moment someone starts trying to gain your admiration, it means you've already won them over. This rule applies not only to people in general, but also to women. If you're a guy talking to a woman and she starts trying to earn your admiration, it means she's already yours. You achieve this by not trying to prove anything to that person. Instead, you show them that you don't need to prove any idea or point. One way to do this is when you're in a conversation and they interrupt you. Imagine you're speaking to someone and they cut you off. What's the best way to handle this situation? The answer is to ignore it. If you're speaking and they cut you off, let them talk. If they change the subject, let them change the subject. Many young people make the mistake of trying to return to the previous topic and insisting on not letting it go. But the better approach is that if someone interrupts you, let them interrupt. If they change the subject, let them change it. Don't hold on to the previous topic. By doing this, the other person will see that you're not trying to prove anything to them. They'll feel that you don't need to assert yourself, and that in itself is a display of strength. The other person will sense your power because the strongest person in society is the one who doesn't need to prove themselves or convey a specific idea to others. However, if someone constantly interrupts you, meaning they cut you off every time you try to speak, in this case, you should not allow it. How do you stop them? You tell them directly and calmly. Simply say to them, "Hey, why don't you let me finish what I'm saying?" Unfortunately, many people don't do this. If someone is doing something you don't like, tell them directly and calmly. This is really important. If you're a guy, here's a golden piece of advice. As a man, you need to understand that society expects you to express yourself clearly and directly. Unfortunately, I see many young men trying to express themselves in an indirect way, fearing they might come across as rude. But this is a mistake. As a man, society expects you to be clear and to express yourself. If someone constantly interrupts you, tell them directly. If they continue interrupting you despite this, then there's no reason for you to keep talking to them. This is a principle you should adopt for your entire life. Don't torture yourself trying to please someone else. If there's a person you don't enjoy talking to or being around, simply stop engaging with them and avoid them. Anyway, let's get back to our topic. Imagine we're having a conversation and I keep talking while you interrupt me. If I ignore it and let you finish your point, it means that the things I was saying weren't intended to prove anything to you. When someone feels that you don't want to prove anything to them, they'll feel the need to prove themselves to you. This increases your value in their eyes. Now let's move on to the next step, which is recognizing their presence as a person. What does that mean? It means accepting them as they are and valuing them for who they are, not for what they have or what they do. When you meet someone and start talking to them, avoid asking questions like, "What's your job? Do you work? Did you go to college? What degree do you have? Do you still smoke? How much do you make?" Avoid this type of questioning. The person should feel that you care about them as an individual, not for what they do or own. For instance, don't sit down with them and ask, "Do you still smoke?" Or say, "You should quit smoking." Don't start giving people advice or lecturing them. I've talked about this in a previous video in the series, where when you sit and start giving advice and telling someone they need to change, that's a major social mistake. Do you think they don't already know they need to change? Are they waiting for you to tell them what they should do? Advice should only be given when the person asks for it. This means showing them that you accept them as they are, with all the problems they might have. Here's a golden piece of advice. Never place yourself above others. Don't put yourself in a higher position than others and start giving them advice or telling them what they need to do. If someone has a problem, don't start talking about it, asking about it, or trying to help them without them asking for your help. Don't embarrass them. At the same time, don't try to correct people. This is a very important point. Imagine you're sitting and talking to someone about a topic, and they say, "The moon is 150,000 miles away from us." Don't immediately jump in and say, "No, the moon is 238,000 miles away." Why would you say that? What would you gain? What would they gain from you correcting such a trivial and pointless fact? If it doesn't add something meaningful to the conversation or take anything away from it, don't correct them. This is a habit I used to have. Whenever I heard someone say something incorrect, I felt a strong urge to correct them. But trust me, this is a very bad habit. The next step is to give the other person the opportunity to try to earn your admiration. I mentioned this point earlier, and now I'll explain how to apply it. So how do you encourage someone to strive for your admiration? The first thing is to ask for their opinion. As humans, when we talk, we often focus on expressing our own opinions. The problem is that most people don't care about other people's opinions and just want to talk about themselves. Learn to ask for others' opinions and listen to them. If you're discussing something or watching something, ask the other person what they think about it. Let them express their opinion and listen to them. At the same time, ask for their suggestions. Look, in life you'll meet many people who want to give you suggestions or advice. When this happens, listen to them. Imagine you have a YouTube channel and someone comes to you and starts giving advice, saying, "Do this," or "Try that." Don't reject their advice and don't treat them as if they don't understand. By the way, before we continue, I want you to underline this sentence. Never treat anyone as if they don't understand anything or as if you're better than them. Even if they're not educated or younger than you, never look down on anyone. You don't know what might be in their mind, or at least don't show them that you look down on them. Treat them as if they're just like you. Let's get back to the topic. When someone gives you advice or offers a suggestion, listen to them and don't shut them down. For example, if you have a YouTube channel and a friend tells you, "Make a video about a certain topic," they're saying this because they want to help you and earn your admiration. So let them share their opinion. Don't say no. Listen to them. If the idea they suggest isn't suitable for your channel, or you don't think it'll get many views, you can say, "That seems like a good idea, but I need to think about it." This way, you don't outright reject their suggestion. Now, if we look at everything I've mentioned in this video and what I'll explain in the upcoming videos, I'm sure many people in the comments will say that if they do these things, they'll feel like they're faking it, that they're not being their authentic selves. Listen to me carefully, my friend. That advice, "Be yourself," is the dumbest, worst, and most ridiculous piece of advice in the history of humanity. Imagine someone who smokes and wants to quit smoking. Would you say to them, "Don't quit, stay true to yourself"? Or someone struggling with obesity who starts going to the gym to change their body, would you say to them, "Don't work out, stay true to yourself"? Of course not. And the same applies to your social skills. Your way of communicating with people is a skill. And like any skill, it needs practice and improvement in every possible way. This topic doesn't end here, and I'd be lying if I told you that everything I shared today is enough. The Social Skills series is just getting started, and I'll continue discussing it in upcoming episodes. Please, if you're interested in this series, let me know in the comments. And if this video reaches 10,000 likes, I will continue this series. This was today's lesson, and I'll see you in the next video.